So join us now for Mysteries of Life with Laney Cline.
Doobie doobie doo-ba, doobie doobie doo-ba, doobie doobie doo-ba, Laney! Mysteries of Life with Laney.
Good morning and welcome to a very special edition of Mysteries of Life with Laney. I'm your host, Laney Cline, a 4th grader here at Hasty Elementary Fine Arts Academy. On Mysteries of Life with Laney, I interview teachers, staff, and others in our community to get answers to questions that students may have about how things work at our school and in our world. The state of Georgia is one of the 10 biggest states in the country, with almost 10 million people who call Georgia home. Once every 4 years, the people of Georgia vote to choose one person out of 10 million Georgians to serve as the leader of our state for the next 4 years. The leader of the Georgia government is called the governor. Right now, the governor of Georgia is Nathan Deal, who was chosen by Georgia voters to be governor in 2010. Later this year, the people of Georgia will vote to decide who will be the governor for the next 4 years. The candidates this year are Governor Deal, who wants to be the governor for 4 more years, Jason Carter, a member of the state senate, and Andrew Hunt, who is a businessman and geologist. Because the governor has such an important job, the things he or she says and does are reported in the newspapers, online, and on TV almost every day. But you may not know that the person married to the governor, called the First Lady or First Gentleman, also plays a very important role in helping make our state a better place to live. On today's edition of Mysteries of Life with Laney, we're going to discover what it is like to be the First Lady of Georgia. I am honored to have as my guest today the current First Lady, Mrs. Sandra Deal. Mrs. Deal, welcome to Mysteries of Life with Laney, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Laney.
I have read that you grew up in Gainesville, which is a town not far from here that has a lot in common with Canton. What was your life like when you were a child? And did you ever imagine that you might someday call the governor's mansion home?
Well, I grew up in a little community outside Gainesville, and my parents were both teachers. But I grew up in a small house, and I was the oldest of 4 children. No, I never dreamed I would be married to the governor and living in the mansion. But you never know what will happen.
What would you say is the most important lesson that you ever learned as a child, and how has that lesson been useful in your life and work?
Well, I think I learned to be responsible. You know, when I went to school, I was responsible for doing my homework, making sure I had my books and my pencil and my paper. And I think learning to be responsible was a very important lesson, maybe the most important one I learned.
Since you moved into the governor's mansion in 2010, how would you say that your life has changed? And what are some of the things that you enjoy most about being First Lady?
Well, first of all, I had to learn that I was living in a museum and that I needed to know all about the furniture and all the beautiful things that fill the governor's mansion. They belong to the people of Georgia, but they all have a history because everything is 200 years old. And so I had to get busy studying so I could teach people about all of those wonderful things we have, because so many of them are really priceless. That means they are worth so much money we probably couldn't come up with the money to replace them. And so I have enjoyed teaching people because I was a teacher, and it helps me to teach people about all of those beautiful things. So I'm still a teacher, even though I don't have a classroom.
As First Lady of Georgia, you have spent a lot of your time talking to students about the importance of reading. Why do you believe that reading is so important, and what are some of your favorite books for children?
Well, I think reading is important because to be able to succeed in life, you need to be able to read. You know, reading is tough because it's a job. We have to work at it, don't we? And anytime you have to work at something, it becomes more and more important as we get better and better at it. But I feel like if children learn to read and are good readers by the time they finish 3rd grade, they will then start to read for knowledge. They will have to read their books to learn what the teacher wants them to know. And as they read more and more, they become more and more skilled, and they can be successful as they go into high school and on into choosing what they want to do in life, whether they want to go to technical college or they want to go to big college, universities, maybe become even additional college. They can choose what they want to do. If we stop going to school and don't have all the skills, then we end up not being able to choose our jobs. We have to just take whatever is available so we can have a paycheck. And I want every Georgian to be able to read well and to be able to be a good student so they can finish high school and be able to choose the kind of job they want to have so they can provide well for their families. That's my goal. Now, you ask about reading what I liked. Oh, back when I was growing up, I read every one of the Nancy Drew mysteries and the Hardy Boy mysteries and the Boxcar Children. I think those were some of my favorites. Although I read a variety because I like to read a lot of different things, even geology.
I have read that you studied education in college and worked as a teacher for over 15 years. You've also visited more than 300 schools across Georgia in the last 4 years, so you know a lot about education. As we begin a new school year, are there any words of advice that you would like to share with the students here at Hasty?
Well, yes, I do know a little bit about education because I was a teacher. And I have gone around the state trying to encourage, especially young children, to want to learn to read. Because reading is exciting, it opens new doors. But just like anything else, you have to practice to get good at reading. You know, it just doesn't fall in our laps. If you want to learn to ride a bicycle, do you get to learn it the first time you get on a bicycle? Can you just go riding up and down the streets? No, we have to practice, don't we? And the same is true to play basketball, or to dance, or to sing, or play piano, or any kind of sport. We have to practice. And reading is just the same way. We have to practice and practice and practice. And so that's what I try to encourage young people to realize. They have to work. But that's their job, because they're in school to learn. And we want them all to work very hard to learn how to read so they can be successful in life.
Well, there you have it, folks. The mystery of life is the First Lady has been solved once and for all. Mrs. Deal, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be our guest today.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
Thanks also to the crew of Mysteries of Life with Laney, Ella Sauls, Olivia Neesmith, and Summer McRoy. And special thanks to John Klein, Mrs. Brackett, Mr. Magruder, and Lily Ann Klein for their help with the show. Most of all, thanks to you for watching. We hope you'll join us next time as we learn more about how things work at our school and in our world on Mysteries of Life with Laney. Have a great day, everyone.